going?
Nick, when you come out of this game against the Rams and move forward to the Patriots, is there one particular episode of that game or situation or just overall umbrella of something that went wrong that you really have put the focus in on correcting?
Yeah, I think it was situations more than one thing. I think it's a culmination. It hasn't really ever been one thing or one coverage. It's kind of been a culmination of things, and it just hasn't been good enough overall. You know, it's not one person or one cover. You know, like I said, it's just kind of been, be a little better here, a little better there. And as always, I always look at myself first, and I should. I mean, it's my defense and I'm the coordinator, but I take responsibility of that. And I think we just all feel that way. That's a cool thing. All as coaches, we got to coach better, and players have that, feel that challenge as well for themselves.
Coach, you maybe just any update on Robinson?
What's that?
Robinson?
Oh, Curtis? Oh, I don't know. Thank you.
What is the loss of Javon Hargrave due to your defensive line?
I mean, he's a great player, but he's having an awesome camp and awesome off season, and really that game he was playing really, really good too. So it's tough because he's such a good player. I mean, this is a time when guys have to step up. I know it's cliche, but the league is littered with guys that have been backups and, you know, get their chance and play really well. It's just understanding who we're losing. It's gonna be a tough shoes to fill, but guys have to step up.
And going back and talking about not one thing, not one player, not one situation, is it difficult to make all the pieces fit together when there are so many new faces on that defense, a lot of new personnel?
No, I think it's a challenge. It's just, you know, we're close. I think we feel it. You could be frustrated at times, but you know, we gotta fix it, and we will.
Nick, what stands out to you when you watch?
When you talk about replacing Hargrave, are you looking at just, you know, one person, or do you envision that having to be kind of multiple guys that will, you know?
Yeah, I think we're looking at a bunch of guys, and you know, Jordan Elliott's been rotating in, and so does Kevin. So those guys in particular, you know, you think of them to step up, and then it goes from there. You know, we've got guys on practice squad, so I think it's just a matter of, you know, getting guys trained, and that's why you have practice squads, so that they're trained up and, you know, see who can step in and make plays for us.
Could that be more Gross Matos moving inside too, or do you maybe not have enough edge depth to do that?
He's done that, you know, certain situations in his history, which we've talked about.
When you look at the third down defense in particular, why do you feel that's been an issue, just getting off the field?
Like I said, it's not one thing. It's been tough. It is frustrating at times. I mean, because sometimes it's really good. It's just, I think stuff's been kind of inconsistent all around. You know, sometimes in the run game we hit it up really good, or we get pressure. I think overall, I just think we have high expectations. We all do. The players, the coaches, myself, we all understand how it's supposed to look here. And I think it's not one thing. We just consistently got to get better.
Nick,
Joseph didn't come off the field, which I think has only happened one other time in his career. Is that a reflection of the edge depth? Or?
No, I don't think it's a reflection of the edge depth. I think, you know, in talking to Nick, we'd like to spell him more. I mean, if you really look at the first 3 games, we really didn't have a lot of plays, and I think he was kind of into the game and, you know, felt good. And, you know, Kasarik is always connected with him, and he likes to rotate the guys and take care of Nick. And there just haven't been as many defensive plays, I think, so far in the first few games. And, you know, Nick was into it, and I think we just, you know, we got to protect him and be smart about it so that we keep him as fresh as possible for the longest period of time. But I think he just, you know, felt like he was good. If Nick's good, then he's going to get a lot of reps.
Nick, when you watch the Patriots offense on film, what stands out to you about them?
Well, they can really run the ball. I mean, they're aggressive, they're physical, they have a very good plan, they're very well coached. 2 really good running backs, a line that knows how to block, they have good scheme. And then Brissett really is a good fit in that system and how he performs and how he plays. And, you know, he sees the game right, he protects the ball. He can make the throws that he needs to make, and he can move really well. I think they're just a tough team, reflection of the coach and the coaching, and respect for those guys. I mean, they're really big backs that can cut, they can run. It's just overall physical team.
When you hit a rough patch like this, do you sit back and think, man, we got to try some new things and shake things up, or do you have to guard against that and say, let's just do what we do and do it better?
I think it depends. Depends on what you're doing good. You got to look at yourself, and then also it's that week who you're playing.
Yeah.
So you got to evaluate, what are we doing? What can we be better at? A lot of times you can pinpoint that. You don't want to just go off the reservation because you know who you are. You know what you want this defense to be. But then also, how does that tie into who we're playing? You know, the most important thing is how do we win this game? So it's not so much, you're looking at what you've done and what needs to be better, and you identify it. And I think we talk about it, we identify it, and then all right, is that going to affect? How much does that affect this game? What do we need to do specifically to win this game and beat this team?
How much Drake May do you watch, just in case they decide to make a quarterback switch?
Yeah, you watch them both. I mean, we've seen a lot of tape. I mean, there's only been a few games, and those guys did play in the preseason. So, you look at the scheme and of what they've done in the past, but he's a talented quarterback too.
Nick, can you talk about more the process of calling defenses in a game when you're doing it for the first time, and how you compare the differences? Is it faster? Is it
I think a lot of guys, a lot of the preparation is done now. It's done during the week, and you kind of prepare for the situations. There are tweaks that you do have to. Sometimes you can pre-think, okay, if this happens, we're ready to go to this. That you might have some tweaks in game. That's why you always hear people talk about halftime adjustments. Sometimes you have those. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't need them necessarily, or you decide that you don't, need to have something called that you have on the sheet based on what they're deciding to do, and you're just kind of figuring each other out and seeing how it's working within the game. But I think primarily most of the work is done throughout the week.
Is there anything that replicates it? Like before you get into a game, is there anything that replicates the fury?
Oh, not really. Preseason games are cool, and then me personally, not having done it, my favorite part of training camp was the unscripted move the ball periods. I think those are invaluable for someone who hadn't done it before.
That's good. All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.